Jeep Grand Cherokee models for $199 a month.
SportsCenter is continuing breaking news coverage of the death of Kobe Bryant at the age of 41. He was one of 9 people aboard a helicopter that crashed in the Calabasas area of Los Angeles County, which is northwest of downtown L.A. Also among the victims, Kobe's 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. They were on their way to a basketball game there in the Southern California area. Gianna was expected to play in that game. Kobe has been coaching her and other youngsters throughout the area over the last several years since he retired from the NBA. And as you might imagine, the emotions are just churning in Los Angeles. Kobe was an icon, to say the least, in that city, leading the Lakers to 5 NBA championships, and he also won the MVP back in 2008. This is the scene across from Staples Center right now, which is hosting the Grammys tonight, but the fans have still come down there by the thousands to pay their respects to Kobe Bryant, who passed away at the age of 41. For Zubin Mehenti, I'm Michael Leaves. So much emotion and perspective has been coming out, Zubin, over the last several hours in the wake of Kobe's death. Speaking of paying your respects, how about the homage that has been paid by players taking part in the 8 NBA games today? Our Ramona Shelburne said there was some discussion about perhaps canceling them, but the games did go on, and I got to mention, one of these games was in Atlanta. Look at Trae Young. Normally he's rocking the 11, right? But he's got the 8, Kobe's first number. And then to pay homage to Kobe's number 8, it's not the 10-second violation anymore. They've changed it to an 8-second backcourt, and the Hawks were really happy, I think, to take a turnover there. I think Trae Young would take a turnover in the box score there for sure. And then you got to mention this, maybe a little serendipity. It's been a tragic, cruel day. But he hits this half-court shot, and then you can hear him mouth, "This one is for Kobe." An unbelievably emotional scene there in Atlanta, throughout the rest of the league as well. Michael, I want to mention, if you're wondering, the Lakers will be in action on Tuesday at the Staples Center against the Clippers. We'll have to kind of brace ourselves for that, because I'm sure the emotion is going to be flowing. Trae Young doing the best he can to honor the late, great NBA legend. The Rockets taking on the Nuggets. There's Austin Rivers, emotional before the game. They did have a moment of silence in honor of Kobe prior to. Russell Westbrook, of course, who grew up in Los Angeles, as did Tyson Chandler. He was emotional on the bench. Of course, his formative years, Kobe Bryant was on the basketball court for the Lakers. Okay, so the Raptors and the Spurs are one of the 8 games today as well. Both teams exchanged 24-second violations to start the game, paying respect to Kobe's other number, 24. You see Greg Popovich there. He simply said after the game, "We lost. Who cares?" It's not about winning and losing today. It's about honoring Kobe Bryant. And you can tell, I mean, these are teams that Kobe would visit once or twice a year, and they were paying their respects big time. Celtics, Pelicans, several of the players riding on their shoes in memory of Kobe Bryant. Pre-game, they honored Kobe with a 24-second moment of silence, 24.8 seconds. Of course, again, the 2 jerseys. And there is Lonzo Ball, who grew up outside of Los Angeles, played his college year at UCLA, drafted by the Lakers. He was clearly emotional. Kemba Walker, as the Celtics also took 24-second violations. The Suns and the Grizzlies played Devin Booker. I mean, you just look at Devin Booker's face. Look at his eyes. The Grizzlies, like the rest of the league, taking a 24-second violation. The Suns respond with their own 8-second violation. And you'll hear from all these guys after the game and on social media, but if there's something that they can do on the court where Bryant started, they did it. Clippers taking on the Magic. There was a pregame moment of silence in Orlando as well. Lou Williams clearly affected, as was Doc Rivers prior to the game. And the Clippers, both squads, they start with a 24-second violation, and then the Magic do an 8-second backcourt violation. Again, Kobe has 2 jerseys retired by the Lakers in Staples Center. Clippers will see the Lakers in the Lakers' first game since the passing of Kobe Bryant. That will be Tuesday at the Staples Center, of course. The Nets and the Knicks, the world's most famous arena for one of the world's greatest basketball players, lit up in purple and yellow. I want to mention that Kyrie Irving did not play in this game, very close personal friend of Kobe Bryant, obviously overcome and distraught with emotion as the Madison Square Garden crowd. Remember, Kobe had some amazing games there. He had a 61-point game there earlier in his career. They've had some great basketball over the decades there. And that floor was once graced by the legendary Kobe Bryant.
Next, we are joined by Jay Williams, who had himself an NBA career. And I can see, Jay, just the emotion and the look on your face right now as we're watching you. Just whatever you want to say. I can see you're emotional. I'm just going to give you the floor to respond and give your thoughts on the death of Kobe Bryant.
You know, we get caught up in this world in debates and who's the greatest and love to judge people and off the court and on the court decisions. I think a lot of times we forget about who people are. And I know for me, I had a defining moment in my life that he pushed me in the right direction. And for somebody who's a new father, who has a baby girl, you know, I'm not going to say prayers and condolences because I don't even know how you capture this moment, man. I know everybody's coming out with their Kobe Bryant story, and that's fine. But he is just, he was one of the most special individuals I've ever met. And it wasn't just his on-the-court performance. It was who he wanted to be, how he held himself. And we're all prone to make mistakes. We all live this life. But his innate character, his being, his spirit was incredible. It was just incredible. And it's rare that I've been around a lot of people in my life. And every time I was around him, if that was through the Players Tribune, if that was through as a player, if that was through random workouts, there's something so damn uplifting about him. It just made you want to be better in every aspect of your life because that's who he was. And that's the standard of excellence that he held himself to all the time. And today's a tough day. Today's a hard day. And I hope that everybody at home, you give that person next to you whatever thing you have wrong in your life with them, if this might be small or big, let it go. It doesn't matter. I know I curse, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
None of that stuff matters, man. This is it's about life and being precious with every damn second we have here because from somebody who knows who almost happened to me like that, man, it's just over. It's done randomly, arbitrarily. And, you know, his 4 girls and his wife, we need to come around them and support them and help them. And the NBA should cancel all games today. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, we should mention there are 8 games in the NBA today. It appears as though at least the Rockets-Nuggets game is going off because they did hold a moment of silence, a moment of prayer in a sense before they tipped off this afternoon to eulogize and to remember one of the greatest players that's ever picked up a basketball. I know he impacted your life personally, professionally, way beyond the game, and you can answer this from a basketball perspective or beyond. What separated Kobe Bryant from other people?
You know, so my rookie year, I only played 1 year in the league. And my rookie year, we were playing against the championship Lakers. And it's Kobe, Shaq, that squad. And I remember I was in a slump, wasn't playing well, I was getting sidetracked throughout the season, doing things I shouldn't be doing. And, you know, pumped up about playing this guy here. And I got to the Staples Center early that day, around 2 o'clock, 2:33 to shoot and get 400 made shots. And, you know, I walk in with the ball boy and I'm putting on my sneakers. And who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant working out so hard, like game-like moves. And watching him like, all right, thank you. No, that's my motivation for the day. That's great. I get a chance to work out when Kobe Bryant's working out. And I go and I do my workout, and I work out for about an hour and 15 minutes. And I go back on the sideline, I unlace my shoes, and I keep hearing the ball bounce. I look down, and this guy's still going. He's still going. And it's still the same type of moves that I saw him going from the moment I walked in the gym. And I sat there and watched him for 10 minutes, and then I left. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to be able to have enough energy to play against us tonight. And that night, he just destroyed us. He destroyed us in every facet of the game. And I remember after the whole game was over, I was like, don't be that cheesy dude. Don't ask another man, like another guy, like where that drive comes from. But I couldn't help myself. I sought him out, and I found him. I said, you know, like, why? Why'd you stay and keep working out? And this line changed my life as a person. He said, because I saw you come in the gym, and I wanted you to know that no matter how hard you worked, you weren't going to outwork me. And it was one of those things where I was sitting there saying, Like, who am I? Who am I? But that's just how he was, that's the cloth he was cut from. That's who he was every day in every facet of his life. You know, if it was him trying to be better, coming up with cartoons, the animated series, and winning a damn Oscar. If it was him trying to be better as a person. You know, look, I don't know every aspect about Kobe, but I know how he touched me in my life. And that moment right there was, I know my career ended short, but I carry that in everything I do. Like, that's how I attack my life. And if it's with my wife, being a better husband, if it's with my daughter, being a better dad, if it's with work, how do I work more? How do I work better? How do I work more efficiently? That's a huge part of who I am because of that moment. And I can never thank him enough for that.
Your words have been incredibly poignant. The San Antonio Spurs are going to tip off in 9 minutes. I would imagine they'll ask Greg Popovich, who's had his great duels with Kobe over the years, to talk about it after the game. As I mentioned, 8 games in the association today. The Lakers will not play today or tomorrow. They will play the Los Angeles Clippers at the Staples Center on Tuesday night, and you can only imagine the amount of emotion that might be welling up in that building. Last thing for you, Jay. Like yourself, he was a father, a husband. Kobe was an NBA legend. He was even an Academy Award winner. On and off the court, you seemingly know him very well from the comments you've just given. Kobe Bean Bryant's legacy will be?
You know, I don't know how to define the greatness in his legacy. It's one of those things that it can't be put into words. You had to be around him to feel it. It spoke for itself. It was this aura that he had around him. You didn't need to hear somebody paraphrase it, or it was greatness, man.
Simply put.
I can't explain greatness.
No, I guess the best way to explain it is he was just willing to outwork everyone. And when you do that in any endeavor, you tend to be great. He just happened to be the greatest of his generation. A true icon, dead at the age of 41. We appreciate the perspective today of Jay Williams. Jay, thank you very much.
Guys, here's the scene outside the Mamba Academy in Newbury Park, California, which is where the helicopter was en route to prior to the crash. This, again, is about an hour or so northwest of Los Angeles. This is a facility that Kobe started. It's basketball, it's volleyball, it's soccer, it's for kids, it's for adults. It has the Mamba mentality. It says train the Mamba way. And when Kobe was asked about the Mamba mentality, he said, Mamba mentality isn't about seeking a result. It's about the journey and the approach. It's a way of life. And that's how Kobe attacked every aspect of his life. We're joined now once again by Ramona Shelburne there near the scene of the crash in the Calabasas area of Los Angeles. Over the last couple of hours, Ramona, again, we've had a lot of reaction and perspective about Kobe Bryant. What else have you been able to learn where you've been over the last several hours?
Well, look, we're here with a lot of fans here who are, there's a vigil right behind me. There's a memorial where fans are leaving flowers and candles, and it's quiet here. And I think it reflects how everybody in Los Angeles, maybe all around the world, is feeling, which is, you don't know what to say. I mean, the fact that Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and everyone else is gone is still sinking in. I actually, after I did my last hit with you guys, I went in the car and I read back through old text messages that he had sent me, old emails that we had exchanged over the years. And I think I mentioned before when I had my son a little while ago, he was one of the first people to reach out, and he just said, you have been blessed to give birth, a gift women have, and women are walking miracles. And he goes, blink and you will have a teenager on your hands. Trust me, LOL. I mean, that was Kobe. And I've heard from so many people who knew Kobe, who had moments that, Jay was just talking about, where when an athlete would get hurt, who one of the first people who would call him was, even if he knew him or didn't know him? Kobe Bryant. Richard Sherman tears his Achilles. Kobe reaches out. Kevin Durant tears his Achilles. Kobe reaches out. Paul George. I mean, you're going to hear a lot of this over the next couple of days of him being there when somebody he may or may not have known, but somebody he just respected, who needed a little inspiration, who needed somebody to say, I know things are bad right now, but you have it in you, and I know you can do it. And I think that's really the legacy. I think that's what, when you talk about what the Mamba mentality is, that's what I think people here are feeling.
Ramona, I can look at some of the fans behind you. There's some teenagers there, look like some kids even in elementary school. And he has this Mamba Academy there to allow kids the chance to play and develop their games and work on other aspects of growing up as well. And I remember seeing Kobe so many times in his career, whether at Staples Center or even on the road, Ramona, interact with kids and the way they looked up to him, but the way that he would get down on their level to make a connection. Can you speak to that aspect of Kobe as it relates to the kids who looked up to him?
Yeah. Man, I was out here earlier this year. Maybe I guess it was last year, 2019, and he was having an event for kids out here, and that's what he cared about now. I mean, when he was doing his comic books, when he was doing his novels, when he was doing his podcasts, they were for young adults. They were for kids, because he felt like somebody needed to talk to kids on their level. Like he wasn't interested in just writing about his own legacy. He was thinking up universes and characters and worlds that kids would understand and understand the message that he was trying to teach them. I think he has always been the author of his own legacy. And at one point, honestly, I think it was around when he tore his Achilles. He started to realize that basketball legacy was going to come to an end, and he wanted to impart that wisdom and everything that he had learned along the way through good times and bad times, right? I mean, you've covered him out here in Los Angeles. We didn't just see this guy grow from a boy to a man. We saw him go from a boy to a man to an old man. We also seen him at the lowest of the lows and in a bad spot several different times of his own making. Okay, and he came back from that. He found a way to go on with his life, but also he really found it important to try to give back to people and how he learned to move on from that moment. I think he acknowledged his failures, he acknowledged his successes, and I think that's what he wanted to leave to children, right? And teach children. That's why everything he's done since he retired has been for kids.
Ramona, you know, Kobe Bryant had one of the greatest careers in basketball history, but he wasn't one to necessarily brag publicly about what he accomplished. Now, if you challenged him on his career, he'd be quick to remind you that he did win 5 championships, and anyone talking trash, he was ready for that conversation. But he had so much reason to be proud of what he accomplished playing basketball. We just showed some video of his daughter Gianna there in one of those games at the Mamba Academy, and he was sitting back with a big smile on his face, looking at her, and I felt in that moment, Ramona, more pride as Kobe, the father, maybe basketball coach of his daughter, than Kobe Bryant, the basketball player.
That's right, and I'm telling you, the last few years, especially since he retired, you know, I'd reach out, something big would happen in the NBA, and I say, hey, you see what happened? You know, Steph did this, or Clay did that, Kevin Durant, whoever it was, and he was like, oh man, I missed the whole thing. I'm at choir practice right now. I'm at basketball practice right now. And, you know, he would tell me about Gigi. He was so proud of Gigi. Like, he was picturing her in the WNBA already. He had her lined up to go to go play for UConn. Okay, and he would always tell me about her because that was his daughter. He felt had that same ferocity, that same Kobe in her, and just beaming with pride at how much she loved the game. Like, you know, you saw him at Staples Center. Honestly, I never thought he was going to come to Staples Center after he retired. He joked about it. He goes, man, I live down in Orange County. Why would I ever come up to LA again? You know why he came up to LA? Because Gigi wanted to watch basketball. Because Gigi wanted to see Trae Young or Luka Doncic. And he would go with her to games. And that was what his life was about at this point. And, you know, I can't believe at 41 he's gone. I can't believe how much he accomplished at 41, you know, in those 41 years. But he really does leave an incredible legacy. And frankly, like, I can't believe how much he's written and said and done that we're all now going to pour over now that he's gone. It will be interesting to see how that Mamba mentality continues, especially impacting some of the kids that are standing behind you right now at the Mamba Academy there in Newbury Park, California, pardon me. Ramona Shelburne here on SportsCenter. Thank you.
Mike, the swing of emotions this weekend is just almost too hard to wrap your head around after what we saw from LeBron Saturday night. This is LeBron's Sunday morning after the Lakers made their way back from their game in Philadelphia. They'll play Tuesday night, but obviously you could see LeBron with the tissue there. You can see him kind of dapping up his eyes, totally understanding the moment and what Kobe had meant to him. I mean, he said after yesterday's game, passing Kobe on the all-time scoring list. I mean, that's Kobe Bryant. But think about that for a second. That's LeBron James being in awe of somebody on a basketball court, because that's who LeBron James was and that's who Kobe Bryant was. He did pass him, and Mike, there is a little symbolism here. Kobe adopted Philly as kind of his hometown, right? Played his basketball in suburban Philadelphia. Obviously, Kobe spent his career with the Lakers. LeBron passes him in purple and gold and does so in Philly, and then talked about Kobe after the game.
I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much. The story is just too much. It doesn't make sense. And just to make a long story short, now I'm here in the Lakers uniform in Philadelphia, where he's from, where one of the first time I ever met him, gave me his shoes, he won All-Star Week. It's surreal. It doesn't make no sense, but the universe just puts things in your life, and when you live in the right way, or you just giving everything to whatever you're doing, things happen organically, and it's not supposed to make sense, but it just happens. I'm happy to be in any conversation with Kobe Bean Bryant, one of the all-time greatest basketball players to ever play, one of the all-time greatest Lakers. The man got 2 jerseys hanging up in Staples Center. It's just crazy. It's cool to know that you have the support of one of the all-time greats that ever played this game, and someone that you admired, to be like on the floor, and do the things, win championships, be young, and be remembered. You know, you don't have that much time to play this game, and you know, if you're able to be remembered, you know, for the great things that you did, the positive things that you did, you know, making people feel, you know, great about what you did, that's a pretty cool thing. So I wrote on my shoes tonight. I think I put Mamba for life, 824 KB, because it's really that mutual. So.
You know, the word we keep hearing today from so many people who knew Kobe, at least have some type of relationship with him, Zubin, has been surreal.
Yes.
It's surreal for me sitting here doing this, having covered him for so long as I did in Los Angeles. And you got to feel that for LeBron James right now, that moment, watching that last night, is surreal for him. Little did he know at that time that within 12 hours, Kobe Bryant would be dead.
It's an amazing sort of situation to hear somebody like LeBron talk about Kobe that way. One great, waxing poetic on the other. The 2 greats in their own words.
I look at Kobe Bryant as the best in our league.
LeBron has done so much for the game.
He's an incredible player.
One of the best scorers this game has ever seen.
He's one of the best that we've ever seen.
He's been so much for what he's been able to do for the league. I'm just trying to put on a show for him and give him a reason to be like, okay, we might come to another game.
Kobe Bryant, to me, is one of my favorite role models.
When he first came into the league, he used to call me and bend my ear for advice.
Kobe guarding LeBron. James on Bryant.
It gets to a point where you be like, you know, I didn't think I could get better today, until now you got to guard Kobe Bryant.
Hey, watch the rip! Watch the rip!
When I think of LeBron, I think of sheer force as being the initial thrust of his game.
He's definitely somebody that you could be around all the time.
When he and I are around each other, we're always talking, always kind of laughing.
He's just trying to dunk on me, Craig. Oh, no. He's just trying to dunk on me.
I think it really went to another level when we played on the Olympic team together in 08.
Oh, you like my look?
Got that Kobe Bryant look going. What's up?
It's more like a big brother relationship. It kind of always has been.
He looks at me like his younger brother for sure, and that's pretty cool, man.
When he first came on board, I said, listen, you are now family now. You're part of this tradition. So if there's anything you need, just let me know.
Welcome here with open arms, and just to have that support, you know, from one of the greatest Lakers to ever play, it was just special for me.
I once talked to Kobe about maybe becoming a coach in the NBA when he retired from playing. He said, no, there's no way I'm going to do that. The only thing I would ever coach would be my kids. And that's exactly what he was doing with this 13-year-old Gianna, budding young player there in the Southern California area. They were on their way to a game Sunday morning for her there at the Mamba Academy. This is some video of him teaching her during a game, coaching her, shaping her idea of what basketball should be. And a couple years ago, Kobe Bryant spoke about that relationship.
There's so many young, talented players out there. It's amazing. And when I took it to the Laker game, that's the first Laker game I've been to, I think, since my jersey retirement.
Really?
And we just had so much fun because for the first time I was seeing the game through her eyes. It wasn't me sitting there, you know, as an athlete or a player or something like that, and then, you know, it's like about me, and I don't like that. It was her. Like, she was having such a good time, and the players were coming up and saying hi to her, and you know, and Brian was talking about her fadeaway and all. You know, it was exciting, and she had such a great time. And as a father, I mean, that's
all you want. That's all you can ask for.
Yes.
So Kobe Bryant in those words, and you saw that Academy Award, that Oscar right behind him. Dan Patrick interviewed him a few years ago, and he actually said, if I walked into your home and I could put a Larry O.B. out there, or your one MVP out there, or I could put your Oscar out there, which one would you want? He said, without even hesitating,
the Oscar.
The Oscar.
Yeah.
It was harder for him to attain, and for a guy that had the work ethic of Kobe Bryant, I'm not surprised that was indeed the answer.
He planned to win NBA championships. He never planned to win an Oscar.
But he was talented enough to do anything he wanted. He has died as a helicopter crash at the age of 41, 9:52 a.m. local time. And this is a boat near Miami where they will play the Super Bowl a week from tonight. Either the Chiefs or the 49ers will be champion. Kobe was a 5-time champion.
Thanks for coming all this way to get me. Do you have everything? Ran out of that car so fast. It's hard to tell.
Treating others like we'd like to be treated has always been our guiding principle.
The famous Meat Lovers Pizza from Pizza Hut. Over a pound of meat and cheese for just $10. It's more pepperoni for your penny, more beef for your buck, more... You get the idea. Get yours delivered now at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
One play at a time. Do whatever it takes to get into the end zone.
Excuse me.
Ma?
Saquon,